So, good morning, students. Today I am starting here chapter 1 database concept, and the main topics of this chapter is database, DBMS and DBMS software, difference between a file system and database system, advantages of database, application of database, database abstraction and various levels of database abstraction, data independence, RDBMS and various terms in RDBMS, different types of keys and some common examples of database. So the first thing, what do you understand by a database? So database, it is a collection of similar fields and all the fields should be related to a particular entity. Here we are taking a one example, student, and the fields of students are roll numbers, name, address, contact number. So here we want to create our database student and no other field is here which is not related to the students. So student is here our database, and suppose we want to create a database of employee. So in employee database, the employee number, name, job, salary and department number, these are the field or column name, and employee is the database. In database theory, all these columns name are called attributes and the name of the table is called a student name of the. So all the attributes of a table is called. So in case of database theory, the table name or the entity is called and columns names are called attribute. So in this, student is a relation or a table and the roll numbers, names, address and contact number are the attribute of student table. In this example, employee is called a table or a relation, whereas the employee number, name, job, salary and department number are the fields, and these are also called attributes. So the next thing is, what do you understand by the DBMS? A system which is provides all the facility in a DBMS for insertion, updation and deletion. That system is called a DBMS system, and the software which manages these facility is called the DBMS software. So there are the many examples of DBMS software such as the MySQL, Ingress, MS Access, SQL Server, MySQL, DB2, etc. So database is a today's technology for storing our data in a computer, and before this the file system was used in computer. So what is the main difference between a file system and a DBMS? There was the many disadvantages in a file system, such as suppose we want to work on 4 computers, then if we want all the operations such as the addition, deletion and updation, then the file should be stored in each computer. So here this is the duplication of data because the file is stored in every computer. And second thing, if we want to share a single data to many computers, so we can share a single file what in this there is a problem if the system 1 is open this file, so this can be read and write operation performed in this file, or if the system is changes any updation in a file, then changes of this will not display on second, third and fourth computer. When the second, third, fourth computer will close their file and reopen this file, that will display the current changes of the file. So concurrently changes on a file will not reflected to other computers. This is one of the disadvantages of file system. Let's take up one more example. Suppose a student is studying in a college and he or she is also staying in a hostel of college, and the college and hostel is using a old system, file system. So there is a two copy of the students, one is in the school computer and second one is in the hostel computer. And suppose the one student is giving the application to change the address in a school, and he told to the administrator कि just convey this information to a hostel. So if the administrator forgets to send the information to the hostel, so the hostels or the hostel administrator will send all the information regarding to that student to their old addresses. So this is one of the disadvantage of the file system. First thing, we require the duplication of data. So here the computer memory is also wastage. But in case of the DBMS or a database, only the data will be stored on a single computer. That computer is called a database server. Or any changes made from any computer, that is changes in a computer database, and the current changes will be displayed in all the computers. And this is also a central management system. So here these are the some most advantages of the DBMS. Number first is a reduce the data redundancy, means this will reduce the duplication of data. Second thing is elimination of inconsistency. Multiple mismatch copies of the same data is known as data inconsistency. The data will be shared. Database is also provide the some security features. So this is called the database security and database integrity. The database integrity means that the data is contained in the database is accurate and consistent. Databases also provide the backup facility and recover if any of the user is deleted or update the confidentially data, then system is stored this data on different place. So we can recover this data from that places. Concurrently controls means one changes in a system that will display in multiple in each computers, means multiple users, and we can easily develop the applications with the help of database systems. And the main disadvantage of the database are, or these are also called the limitations. Database require the high cost as compared to a file system. Second one is database failure. In most of the organizations, all data are integrated into a single database. So if the database is corrupted due to the power failure or any other problem, So in whole systems we cannot see this data because there is a single system to provide the data. Now here the most important topic of database is called a database abstraction or a viewing of data. So a major purpose of a database system to provide the users view an abstract view of data. So there are the several levels of abstractions are number first is a internal level. This is also called a physical level. It is the lowest level of the abstraction here. This is related to hardware devices that organize how the data will physically stored and organized on a storage medium. And the second level of database is called a conceptual level. This is also called a programmable level. All the relations and security features programming will be applied on this level. So at internal level of physical level, database administrator is work, whereas on the conceptual level, database programmers is work. And the last level is called a view level or an external level. Here are the computer operators are work. Here the users can only enter and display a stored data. And you can see the diagram. So this is the physical level, server is here, and on the server there is the programming which is stored in the logical level, and at the end point there are the many users. So here the computer operators are work. And the next thing is the database independence. So what do you mean by database independence? If we are changing the database at in a one level, so the effect of this level should not be at the next higher level. So database independence is the ability to change the schema of at one level of database system without having to change the schema at other levels. Suppose we are changing a database at physical level, so the effect of this should not be on the conceptual level. If we are changing at the conceptual level, then the effect of this should not be on view level or external level. So there are the two types of database independence. Number first is a logical independence and second is a physical independence. So first we will see the physical independence. It is ability to change the internal level schema without affecting the conceptual level. So modification at the physical level are occasionally necessary to improve the performance of the system. And the next is a logical or data independence. It is ability to change the conceptual schema without affecting the external schema. Suppose we want to add a extra programming for the security features at the conceptual level, so the effect of this should not be to the end users, means the database insertion updation should not be reflected.